Hi friends, welcome back. So question for you, is Elon Musk and Tesla a fraud? This is coming after a report that I just read. This is out of the Business Insider, and they're basically saying, hey, FSD is smoke and mirrors. I want to explain the details of this and go over a couple other things because I think it's really important if you're into this stuff. And let's just jump right in. So headline of this is Tesla prioritizes Musk and other VIP drivers' data to train self-driving software. This is coming on July 9th, 2024. Let me explain the basic gist of it and then we'll go through details. So basically what it is that they direct engineers to work on specific routes and on specific routes that specific drivers take. So for example, wherever Elon Musk and however he drives to work, whatever route he takes, you can put all the resources on that to study that particular roads, map it out exactly, and make sure that FSD works perfectly as well as possible for Mr. Musk. So his experience with FSD will be different than the average user's experience. Moreover, they also purposely name and pick YouTubers. You heard that correctly, YouTubers, or they refer to as VIP drivers, to again, you put more resources and engineers on those particular routes that those particular drivers take so they have a better experience. And when they make videos for YouTube, it'll probably, I say probably because it doesn't always is the case. And in fact, we've seen different accidents with FSD, but the idea is they put more focus on the ones that are going to be visible. And this is actually really important to understand because that means the average users or / drivers experience with FSD will be different than Elon Musk and a different experience than the YouTubers. Again, this is all smoke and mirrors. Now, this comes at a time, and this is actually really interesting. This things I suspected, but this comes at a time when Cox, they put all the data of cars, just put out a report. You can read the headlines here. Tesla's share of U.S. electric car market falls below 50%. And this is the first time. So if you don't understand what we're talking about here is like Tesla comes out with electric cars, right? They're essentially one of the first companies to do so, and they were dominating the market. They totally were, guys. I can see it with my own eyes here. 2019, right? They had 75% market share, which is pretty good, right? I mean, obviously that's great. But now, as of April and June of 2024, they're at 49.7% market share, meaning they are losing market share to their competitors. If you follow my channel, I made a video recently regarding the new products coming out from Hyundai, Kia, etc. BMW is another one. You can see that video. But guys, the competition is real. And yes, Tesla is losing market share. They're down below 50%. And they're basically trying to save their company with smoke and mirrors and saying, hey, we're going to do robotaxis, whatever. Also, too, you got this. There's the headlines. Tesla's acting like a meme stock right now, says billionaire bond king Bill Gross. It's interesting because Bill Gross, I actually know who this is. Younger kids probably don't know, but he's a well-known fund manager. It says here, Tesla acting like a meme stock, sagging fundamentals, straight up price action. But then there seems to be the new meme stock every other day. Most are pump and dump, Chewy, Zap, and old favorite GME. So basically he's comparing Tesla to GameStop. So yes, in the short term, you can do okay on the trading, but in the long term, guys, not so great. And if you doubt Bill Gross, guys, he used to manage $270 billion. The dude knows what he's talking about. Now, let me go back to this, okay? So you're dealing with a company that's losing market share, right? You're dealing with a company where deliveries are down. We talked about this. And this report comes out, which is really important regarding FSD, and it appears to be smoke and mirrors. I want to read the details of this stuff. We'll read it together. I gave you the gist of it. We got to go through some of this together. So it says here, Tesla self-driving cars seem like a marvel of machine learning, right? But in reality, the company relies on a small army of human data annotators who continuously improve how the cars drive by reviewing camera footage from thousands of Tesla drivers, right? So Tesla drivers drive, they send the footage, and then people are watching this thing. So it's not AI, it's people. And teaching the vehicle how to behave like a human driver, like deciding when it's appropriate to use a blinker or identifying a construction cone. Business Insider has learned that those annotators focus their efforts on two high-profile categories of drivers: Tesla, CEO Elon Musk, and select VIP drivers. That's why I told you guys about this before. I'm again going through the details of this. BI, that's Business Insider, spoke with over a dozen, right? So it's more than one, over a dozen current and former Tesla employees, all but one who spoke on condition of anonymity. And this is just how it is. Guys, I get it. If you're of a certain type of person, you say, oh, well, we can't trust it if they don't give their name. It's all lies. Some people think that way. But this is the reality, guys. This is how journalism works. If I'm a reporter and I have contacts inside Tesla and I say, hey, give me the inside scoop of Tesla, people will fear for their lives, they're fear for their jobs, they're fear for their family's well-being, and so they can pass on information, but they need to keep their name secret. If you don't understand this basic premise of journalism, I don't know what to tell you. I'm just telling you how it is. I'll give you a simple example. Let's say you have some dirt on Boeing, right? And you're worried for your life, which is a very real concern, be it, again, your physical health, your financial health, your family's well-being. You want to be the whistleblower, but sometimes you don't necessarily want to give your name. So I just want to say, whenever you read this anonymity stuff, don't automatically assume that these are just random people that don't know what they're talking about. According to this is over a dozen current, so like maybe 13 or 14 people coming from Tesla, so more than one. This is why it matters. So anyway, so let's say here, and I know if you're a Tesla bull, you don't believe in this stuff, but whatever. I'm just trying to tell you the truth. So they said, okay, so these people, they said who images and video clips from Musk Tesla receive meticulous scrutiny, right? So these workers, they look at particular footage from YouTubers and Musk. While data from high-profile drivers like YouTubers receive VIP treatment in identifying and addressing issues with full self-driving. The result is that Tesla's Autopilot and FSD software may be better navigate routes taken by Musk and other high-profile drivers. You guys see what I'm saying? Like they put extra resources on Musk and the YouTubers to sort of, how can I say? I mean, it's smoke and mirrors, but you sort of paint a better picture than the way the thing actually works. Because the routes that you take and where you drive is probably gonna be very different than where these people are, right? Making the ride smoother and more straightforward. That means, experts say, Tesla's resources are being unevenly distributed and could serve as a distraction towards the company's larger mission of truly autonomous driving. So it's not really autonomous, if you guys understand this. And for those of you who doubt this, say, well, what do you mean not really autonomous? So it'll go over later in the article, but I'll just give you a little spoiler alert. Basically, what you can do is you can set a course for the car by putting up like artificial walls, right? So if like there's a particular route that is difficult for the car, you just say don't take that turn or don't go that way, right? Like you can tell like auto driving, so because it's not really thinking in the way that they want you to think it is, right? It's more going along a course, which is really different than using your cameras to think and evaluate what's in front of you. I mentioned this stuff because I've showed you guys footage before, say like driving around Shanghai, to where people, like pedestrians, animals, anything that just pop out anywhere, anytime, bicycles, etc. And if the car is like not really prepared for that kind of stuff, it just can't handle it well. Or what if, for example, weather changes, etc. Right? It is different to program a car on a course than it is to program a car and get it ready to like be reactive and adjustive to all of the elements around them. I hope you guys understand what I'm talking about here, but I think this is a really important point. The stuff you see in videos on YouTube, the workers are working extra hard for said drivers. So I suspected, but I didn't know, and that's when I'm reading this, and I think it's a really important report. This says here, several workers said they spent a significant amount of time labeling routes in and out of Tesla's Austin, Fremont, California, and Hawthorne, California. While the annotators could have been viewing data from other Tesla employees or SpaceX workers who own Teslas, they said the same focus was not given to other factory or office parking lots in California or elsewhere. In addition, one recalled labeling a series of clips from late 2022 to early 2023 that involved Twitter's headquarters in San Francisco. The workers said that the team was told to focus on data from areas near Twitter headquarters during the same time period that Musk took control of the social media company. So basically, again, they want to make Musk's experience different than other people's, and then also to the experiences that you see on YouTube, they really focus on those. So it's I've seen people write this in comments to where like they say, hey, FSD is definitely not ready. And then it's fascinating when you hear YouTubers, oh my God, it works so good. So the one thing I wonder, and I just don't know, and you have to ask them, but I wonder if the YouTuber, stock promoters and stock pumpers, if they're aware that the Tesla engineers put special attention on their cars or their vehicles and their routes. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, but I wonder if they're on the inside of that, and who knows on that. And I'd like to hear your opinion on that one. I just don't know. Let's read some more here. It says here, quote, "It seems pretty clear that Elon's experience would be better than anyone else's," one former employee said. He was seeing the software at its best. Another worker said they had misgivings about the initiative. Quote, "It seemed like we were purposely making his car better to make Autopilot look different than it was," another former employee said. "It felt dishonest," right? This is, again, coming from people who work at Tesla. Here's more. Four other workers, right, more than one person, four other workers said they believed they'd labeled routes associated with Musk, but had not been expressly told by supervisors. When annotators, so they try to, it sounds like to me when I read this, it sounds like like someone knows that these are Musk routes, but they don't tell necessarily the lower workers, but they're kind of suspecting it. It's kind of what I feel like. but they don't know for sure. When annotators view the data, they can see a time step when the footage was taken and the geolocation, but they're unable to view anything that explicitly identifies a specific vehicle or driver. Instead, annotators said they could rely on context clues, particular routes, and locations the vehicle visited. Right? Hey, it's at Musk's home. What's it doing over there? You guys get the idea. Burnell said he was one of 8 or 9 test drivers who went to Lombard Street to work on a solution after Balwani, also known as YouTube account Tesla Raj, posted a video on FSD repeatedly attempting to veer off the famously curvy road. The company eventually coded invisible barriers, that's what I was telling you about with the course situation, into the system to fix the issue, especially for Lombard Street, according to Burnell. Burnell was terminated in 2022, so they fired the person. He said it was a result of sharing a series of videos on his YouTube channel of his personal Tesla malfunctioning while using FSD. So this person tried to essentially report the truth of, what is the actual function of FSD, and they get fired. This invisible barrier stuff, or putting a car on a course, has been done before. This is actually part of the investigation of the government into, is Tesla fraud and with their autopilot, stuff like that. I've also read reports several times. This is not unusual for Tesla to do these kind of things, to where, for example, you'll film, the car doing the same action like 20 times until it works. And then finally it works in the 20th time. And then you'll, roll that out and you'll put it in the market and say, oh, see, our car's ready, right? But behind the scenes, the employees are like, well, we had to do that 20 times to get it to work, right? These kind of things. And it's so fascinating, though, to see, like, from the inside, where people, like that one person's like, it felt dishonest. And this is the difference where, we just heard an interview with Ford, and he's like, we could, roll out these kind of cars now, but we're making sure that it works. Mercedes had done the same kind of interview as well, but they relayed the same kind of info. The difference with Tesla and the other car companies, guys, is Tesla really doesn't care about your safety. And what do I mean by that? Because you're putting a beta product on the road where people's lives and people's families are at risk. So, when I read these kind of things, I'm just being honest with you, it makes me really, really upset, because one, it's I would agree, it's dishonest what they're doing, and two, it's dangerous, because this happens. You have people that watch whatever said YouTuber or whatever and kind of trust the system. And yes, if you want to put personal responsibility on said driver, you can. I get that. But point being, though, there's people out there that trust this thing way too much, and they get in car accidents over this stuff. It is a real thing. Say, oh well, I saw YouTuber do said thing, but you can't compare what YouTubers or say Elon Musk car is doing, because again, they're putting special attention on that and putting, as they say, invisible barriers. So it's really nuts. Here's another quote. Here it says, we would annotate every area that the car regularly drove in, one foreign worker who said, and that says Tesla influencer data is what they're calling it. We'd home in on where they lived and label everything so we could along that route, right? So it is like I said, when I read this stuff, it's not shocking to me, just fascinating when you finally hear like the truth come out, right? More of it says here, data collected from VIP users, including high-profile Tesla drivers who post on YouTube, is scrutinized more heavily and more likely to be labeled, meaning like, put this one special attention. 3 current and former workers said, right? So, so 3 current and former workers, so that means 4 people said this. It's more than one. They said they'd been specifically told by leads on their teams that they're working on, quote, VIP data, and resumed overtime pay to work on the data ahead of FSD updates. It makes sense, right? So they push out a plan. They got to get the, and this is something that I've long wondered about, right? How much coordination is going on between Tesla and the YouTubers, right? We know they're receiving money from Tesla through Twitter or through Elon Musk, however you want to put it. Because basically, whenever Elon Musk reacts to one of their tweets, they get money on Twitter. These people are paid on Twitter. I make no mistake. They're paid on YouTube, but when they're paid on YouTube, they're not paid from Elon Musk via YouTube. They're paid through engagement, because Elon Musk can send engagement to them. Whether or not there's like direct payments to the YouTubers, who knows? I mean, who knows? Many of these people's accounts are set up that way. If you look at their Patreons or their Twitters, etc., they say, hey, subscribe to my channel for $2,000 a month. Like they'll have these really high obscene numbers, or they'll have like tips that are like, if you want to buy space on my, have me tweet out something like that, give me $1,000, that kind of stuff. So there are set up to receive monies, but who knows? The other thing is too, is that Tesla, if they were to pay YouTubers for these kind of stuff, they could do it through third party, right? So we know that, for example, Tesla has on retainer marketing companies. We've gone through that before, and it's in the SEC filings that they have these things, but then, we don't really track past that because it's like, and you got to, dig on and the SEC only has so many people that can do these things, but then you got to go through all the books of, say, third parties, and there could be multiple third parties out there. There's agencies out there, et cetera, that push YouTubers. I'm just saying to these guys that when I tell you about this stuff, I'm not just making random stuff up. It's stuff I suspect, it's stuff that I see, and then when I see a report like this, it kind of all fits together. And the question again I pose to you, is Elon Musk and Tesla a fraud? There's one more thing which I thought was kind of interesting. This is all coming out, and it's fascinating, like the crazy news that you hear from Tesla. And it does honestly sound like an Enron kind of situation here. Here's another one. How Elon Musk blindsided Modi with a canceled India trip. So I read this, and it's interesting because it seemed like that they were actually at one point sincere about building factories in India, and I think one of the things that sunk them, and this would be my conjecture, just from what I read, what it sounds like to me, because they talk about that employees. So basically, but what it was, Elon Musk sent out a memo and said, hey, we're probably going to fire 10% of our staff, et cetera, right? And when they were thinking about expanding to India at the same exact time, the way that it looks, and you can make the determination on if that's the plan or not, but the way that it looks is, hey, let's fire a whole bunch of workers in America because we have to pay them more, and let's build new facilities in India because we can pay them less, right? And I make joke, but let's be real. That's how the world works, right? Fire workers that cost too much, hire workers that are cheaper in India. And it seemed like, though, that there was actually pushback within Tesla, because this is also real, guys. There's people at Tesla who are human beings who are like, hey, that doesn't sit well with me. Now, someone like a Musk, I don't think he really cares about the average person. That's more just my opinion, but you can kind of see it through his actions and the way that he talks about this stuff. And moreover, you got this last son of headlines I mentioned before, but I'll mention it again. Tesla is now an official Chinese government car. And you put all this stuff together, and I have to throw it all together for you because I bet that the Tesla pumpers will be completely silent when it comes to this story we're talking about one right here. I think this is the big story right here. Again, this is about how the engineers put their special time on FSD, on Elon Musk's experience and the YouTubers' experience, and then they present it to you as being everyone's experience, and it's clearly not true. And this is coming from more than one person inside over at Tesla. So please share your thoughts on this one. I think this is a massive story. Plus, remember, Tesla is losing market share. They're down below 50%, so it's like the first time that's happened. And if I had to make a wager, I would say this upcoming earnings report was in a week or so. Then you got the August 8th thing. This is Tesla's last chance to keep the meme alive, to keep the mirror and smoke going. Can it keep going? Who knows? That's anyone's guess, because the cult is strong, but the truth eventually does come out. So thanks again for watching, everyone, and catch you all in the next video.